You are now locked in to the Sounds Like Fun podcast.
It don't matter underground or the mainstream. We taking over everything, American dreams. Make a move, long nights to the light beams. Urban Stone, we the motherfucking A-team. I go crazy on this track, man, I spit dope. I'm you homies, know I got
What's going on, world? Welcome to another episode of the Sounds Like Fun podcast. I'm your host, Serial Sensei. Thanks again for everybody who's been listening to this podcast that I just recently started. I know I said I was going to only make it a YouTube thing, but SoundCloud numbers are actually looking fairly decent. So until further notice, this will be on SoundCloud and YouTube, but I'll primarily post a YouTube link. But if you want to listen to it on SoundCloud, it will also be there as well. And just in case you don't know, if you just so happen to be listening to this on YouTube, if you are a fan of mixed martial arts and combat sports, you can check out my other podcast, the Dojo Talk podcast, which I co-host with the Anti-Cool. We just recorded an episode yesterday at the time of this recording. We covered some Bellator, we covered some Ryzen, PFL, UFC predictions. So that episode, by the time you guys hear this, that episode will be out. So if you're interested in combat sports, you can give that a look as well. But thank you guys again for joining me this week. Got another album review, but before I get that started, got to get some plugs and announcements and things. On the music side, just a quick little announcement. I'm pretty sure, well, maybe not on this podcast because I just started it, but on the Dojo Talk podcast, I used to also review music. I'm pretty sure you guys heard me talk about Clear Soul Forces and Novelist probably plenty of times. Really awesome group out of Detroit, and Novelist is one of the members. He has a new album coming out entitled Cerebral Apex. It is releasing, I want to say, August 29th. They do have physical copies available, but it's a limited edition of 200 copies. So if you want, you can go to his Bandcamp and pre-order it. It's pretty dope. It actually has like a manga fold out. Really cool design for the physical packaging because it's like an actual manga, I believe. So you can go give that a look if you want to. The pre-order to get the physical, which obviously includes the disc and the manga, is $25, and that will come out on August 29th. So give that a look. Support dope artist. He's a really awesome rapper. So give that a look if you are interested. On the podcast tip, I meant to mention this. Should have mentioned this last podcast, but I was actually a guest for the first time on someone else's podcast. So shout outs to David and Jack of Anime Podcasts of some sort. They brought me on to their podcast last week. Actually, this was on the 15th. Well, that was when it was uploaded, but I think we recorded a couple days before then. But either way, they brought me on their podcast. We got a chance to chop it up about anime. We talked about Evo. I got a chance to talk about my first jump into Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which I'm currently watching for the first time. So I got a chance to nerd out over there because I don't get a chance to nerd out on my own podcast. So I go on other people's podcasts and I nerd out. So thanks for those guys for letting me come on. So I will leave a link to the description below so you guys can check that out. If you just want to get daily talk of some nerd happenings, you can give that a look. So appreciate them for bringing me on. And the last little announcement, I've decided finally on somewhat of a promo rollout from a book, which I don't remember if I mentioned that on this podcast or not. But if I haven't, I'm working on a book, or the book is actually done. It is entitled The Oddball Chronicles. It is it's going to be a short story series. This will be the very first volume, but I've been trying to figure out a promo run for it, and I've decided for my promo run that I'm going to do a series of videos. They'll probably be kind of like podcasts. I tinkered with the idea of doing a video, like a vlog series, but I don't really have a good camera, and I want it to be of good quality, and I don't have money, honestly, to spend on a good camera. So I'm going to make these like an audio series of kind of just things I've learned along the way of, the process of making a book and writing a book, just the whole creative process and everything that has come along with it. Some things people told me, some things I had no idea was going to happen. So yeah, I'll just kind of be chronicling that. I'm trying to, maybe sometime this weekend, I'll make like an outline for it. I'm not sure how many of these I will do. I don't even know what the name of the series will be, but that'll be a thing. So I'll definitely let you guys know when I start working on that. That'll be something for anybody who's a writer, anybody who's a creator in general. That series will be for you. I definitely plan on touching on a lot of just topics involving like the creative process and pitfalls and hurdles and all of that good stuff in between that, some people may have told you about. Some things might just slap you out of the head, out of nowhere. So I'm gonna try to give you a heads up so you'll know beforehand, so you can avoid some of the mistakes I made, because I didn't have a blueprint along this journey. I've just kind of been learning as I go, and I figured I'd just pass that knowledge on to anybody else who might need it or who's willing to listen to it. So that'll be a thing at some point in the future, and I will let you guys know when I start it. And we'll get that ball rolling, and hopefully my book will be out by the end of this year, and we'll keep pushing from there. But that's all I got for openings. I've rambled long enough, so let's go on, man, and let's just get to the music. So the album that I will be discussing today is from a group called the Off Daze, and the album is entitled Couplescape. The Off Daze is a group consisting of Natti, Deacon The Villain, and Sheisty Khrist. If you listened to me before, I'm a huge Cunning Linguist fan. So anything that Natti and Deacon do, I'm all for it. They're one of the few groups that if any of them, whether it's a group effort, solo, or any kind of mix up, kind of like this, if they're involved, I'm most likely just gonna buy it. I don't even really need to hear a single, because I've just been rocking with them for so long that they've earned that trust to where I can just kind of give them my money, and I know that I'm getting a good return. I know it's just going to be a good exchange. I'm going to enjoy the product, so I have no problem just handing over my money, even if I don't hear anything, because I know they've never let me down in all of the years I've been listening to them, from pretty much since like Dirty Acres was my start listening to Cunning Linguist. So everything they've done since then, and everything I went back to listen to, I've never been let down. So I was going to give this a look regardless. Sheisty Khrist, if you've listened to Cunning Linguist before, he's a frequent collaborator with them. He and Deacon dropped a duo group project. I can't remember what year it came out, but that was Niggas with Latitude, and that was really dope. And I've never heard a whack Sheisty Khrist verse. He's always a good collaborator with them. His verses are always really dope. So I was gonna get this regardless. But when I heard the first single, it was interesting, because like I said, I kind of just went into this knowing like, all right, these guys are affiliated with like my favorite group, or part of my favorite group, and Sheisty Khrist is affiliated with them. I'm just gonna give them my money. And then I heard the first single. I was like, this is different. It was if you've listened to kind of linguist projects as of late, like they just kind of have a different kind of sound to them. And the first single that I heard from this album was Twisted Love Song, and I was like, this is a little different, a little off the path, so to speak, from what I've heard from them lately. But I was like, I like it. It's a different kind of vibe. I can get with this. And then the album comes out, and I had no idea what I was getting into, but once again, I was glad that I handed over my money and bought this on Bandcamp. They put it out the day before for $5, so I couldn't pass that up. So I handed over my $5, and listening to Twisted Love Song, I'm not sure what I thought I was gonna get with this album, but when I finally listened to it, I was not expecting to hear what I got at all. But it turned out to be a good thing. This was just a really fun just really enjoyable listen from start to finish. And I don't think A Twisted Love Song really set me up for what I thought it was going to be. Because a lot of this album doesn't sound... Twisted Love Song is one of the more... I don't know if I want to say slower. It has a different feel than the rest of this album does. So you might go in hearing that as a single and thinking, oh, the rest of the album is going to have this kind of vibe. But, bro, you about to get slapped in the face with with a whole nother vibe. Production on this album is crazy. Got to give the production credits. Looks like a bulk of this was handled by Deacon The Villain himself. But other co-production credits go out to Willie Will. I don't know if this is Idris, Idrys. Sorry if I'm butchering your name. Markeith Black and Young Lord. And also shout outs to everybody who contributed with live instrumentation. So you had Markeith Black, Lance Fury, Ryan Kilgore, Frank Houston Hayes, Micah Tatum, Anitra Polk, Carly Bryan, Black Angel, Jason Coffey. Oh, sorry, I was reading additional vocals. But, I mean, shout outs to them too. So shout outs to everybody who contributed with live instrumentation, because that is a very important and great part of this album. Production wise, man, the sound of this album, I did not expect to hear these three gentlemen go in over these kind of instrumentals. This album is just crazy, like psychedelic. It's funky. It got like a disco vibe to it, something you can dance to. If you look at the album description on Bandcamp, it says roller skate music, and it really does. Like, a lot of the tracks on here sound like that. Like, this would have been in a roller skate, rink back in like the 70s or 80s. It has that bounce to it. It's just, it's perfect. Like, it's just a really, really... The instrumentation is so well put together, man. You got just drums and horns going off and synths and great guitar riffs, in the background. And every track just has like this soulful, funkadelic, like hypnotizing vibe to it. It's really just musically catchy. It's something to nod your head to. It's just really fun music. Like, I just enjoy that you can just put this on, and Cunning Linguists, if you listen to them, or Sheisty Khrist, like, they're definitely known for content and saying something. But like, this album is just kind of fun. Like, you can just put this on and you can just have a good time. Like, you don't got to think extra hard. They're not beating you over the head with, metaphors and crazy bars. Like, this is something you can just put on and just feel good. Like, this is perfect, feel good, soulful, psychedelic, just, like I said, transport you back to the roller skate ring, with your 70s fro. And I don't know what people wore in the 70s. I wasn't alive, but you know what I'm getting to. It's that kind of vibe, and it's put together so well. Like, beats in the middle of the track will switch up and turn to something else. Like I said, the live instrumentation definitely just brings another level of feel. The tracks are well layered. It's just perfect. It's such good. Like I said, if you listen to Twisted Love Song, that's one of the more, I guess, darker, for lack of a better term, tracks on here. So you hear that as the first single, but then you put on the album, and literally, man, like, these first 4 tracks, from Dizzy to Couple Skate to Take Control to Beautiful Danger, but it's just a groove, like, all the way through, man. All the way through. It's just perfect. Like, I was blown away. I did not expect to. I didn't know this was what I was gonna get, but I can't complain because I'm ecstatic. I've been listening to this album. Like, I think the first day this came, within like the first 2 days, I listened to this album like 3 times, which wasn't too hard to do because it's only 10 tracks. I think it comes in at about 30 30, maybe just a little over 30 minutes long, and it is just the perfect groove. Like I said, production, you can't get much better, man. Just like I said, just psychedelic, funky, soulful. You know, it's a straight just vibe all the way through, man. It's just such a just make you feel good right in your soul, man. Just makes you feel good. Like it's just, I don't know how else to describe, man. Production on this album is stellar. So shout outs to Deacon and everybody else who contributed with live instrumentation. Like as fun as the album sounded, like it definitely sounded like they were trying to execute a certain mood. Like this wasn't just something they just sloppily put together and here's some tracks and here's an album. Like I think they purposely wanted to just create this kind of vibe because it flows too well together for me to think that this was just some random happening. Like no, they wanted this to have this certain vibe to it, and they made sure that these tracks flowed together well. They were sequenced well. You know, everything, every instrument, every guest feature, everything had its purpose, and it made a great. This is a good 30. This is a solid, but more than solid 33 minutes of music. But yeah, production was just the first thing that really caught me on this album. Like I said, just the funkiness and all the rhythms and all the grooves. I was like, this is great. This is just great. And then on the lyrical side of things, like I said, I enjoyed that they didn't try to do anything too crazy. Like this is when you hear these beats and this production, it's feel good music, and we all know if you listen to Cunning Linguist or if you listen to Sheisty Khrist, we know they have bars, we know they can do concepts, we know they can do all kinds of serious content, they can touch on any topic, but sometimes you don't need to do all that. Like with these kind of beats and this kind of production, just have fun, and that's what they did. It's just the vocals and the lyrics perfectly match the beats. You get a lot of good harmonizing and singing, which makes the songs like really catchy. I like a lot of the like vocal effects Deacon would put on his voice and some of like the guest features voice. So it made the tracks just that more lively. I mean, they still come through with bars, but like I said, the content's not really crazy. It's not anything too heavy. It's just really good, feel good music. But I was really impressed. I haven't listened to Sheisty Khrist as much as, you know, Cunning Linguist as a whole. But like from everything I've heard from him, especially like with the Niggas with Latitude project, I know he has a solo album that came out a few years ago called Cold Winter. And then all of the guest features I've heard that he's done either like with Cunning Linguist or with Deacon or with Natti or even with No and their solo projects here and there. I've always just heard him over more serious kind of production and him cover serious kind of topics, which he's really good at, and he does that on a track on this album, which I'll get to in a few. But I was really impressed to hear him just over these really soulful, like I said, just funky beats, and nobody sounds out of place. It wasn't so surprising with Natti and Deacon, because if you listen to Natti and Deacon, they definitely have like the voice and vibe to fit these kind of beats, especially Deacon. If you listen to his album Piece of Power, he had a few tracks that were kind of more of on like that soulful kind of vibe. But I'd never, at least in my recent memory, can't remember hearing Sheisty Khrist over these kind of beats. But he fit perfectly along with Natti and Deacon. Like nobody sounded out of place. They could rap fast to just match the upbeat tempo. Like I said, just a lot of good harmonizing going on to make the songs really catchy. The use of features on this album, which features I'll just read off real quick because everybody did a really great job. So shout outs to Cecil Gardner, Clay Coffey, Lance Fury, Bianca Jade, Fier. Shout outs to her. I think she's signed to Tone Deaf's label. Is it Alana? Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Diamond Ray, Willie Bless, and Sean J. So all of the guest features fit in perfectly. You know, some people rap, some people played instruments, some people might have, you know, sung on a hook or just did some background vocals. But all of the features fit perfect. The use of their vocals like just helped the track sound a lot more layered, a lot more lively. It was great. Like everybody had their purpose. Everybody added to the track. No, there was no guest feature or guest vocal or guest verse where I was like, yeah, we could have left you off. Like, no, everybody did their thing. Everybody added to just the liveliness and soulfulness of the album. Just like I said, maybe adding a guest vocal on a hook, making the song a lot more catchier. It was just everybody did their thing, man. I can't say enough. I can't say enough good about how this album just really, really, really came together. Man, they did a great, just everybody did a phenomenal job on this. Like this was one of the funnest projects I've listened to this year. It caught me off guard. I was not expecting this to just just be this good. And it was awesome too because even like I said, a lot of this album is really good, feel good music, but even within the feel good realm, you get a few different vibes. Like some tracks are just like I said, that real funky, soulful kind of like dance, groove music. Some tracks can get a little more melodic. Tracks like Emerald City, it's a bit more slower, almost like borderline like seductive R&B kind of feel to it. You get tracks like Twisted Love Song, which are a little more on the darker edge. And then you get tracks like Ascension 2, which I want to say, and I could be wrong, because Deacon and Sheisty, on their collab album that they did some years back, they had a song called Ascension. So I don't know if this is like a follow-up to that. Could be, but either way, that song is really dope because this is the one song on the album where the album gets really kind of like somber and it gets really serious, and Sheisty just kind of, he does what I think he's really like he's the best at, is just some real life bars, but it doesn't like really interrupt the groove of the album because you get so many feel good tracks, and then they'll hit you with a serious one, and then they'll give you a bunch of other feel good ones, and then you get Ascension 2, which is definitely like probably the most sombering track on the album. And then it ends with Who Are You, and it picks right back up. Like you right back to the groove, like you never left. Like it's like a brief intermission, and then it's back to the dance floor. Like it's back to keep it moving. So I thought they just did a good job of hitting a lot of different kind of vibes on the album, but it still flows really well together. Everything still sounds like it's good and in place. This was just really just good feel good music, man. Like I didn't think I was gonna get this, but man, if you're having a down day or you just want to feel better, put this on. It's perfect. Just like I said, head nod, hit your little two step, hit your little two step. Definitely just good sing along, just really catchy vocals, just everything about this album just fit perfectly. I could go on and on about how much I enjoyed this, but I'm not going to keep you guys here forever. So I will just go into what some of my favorite tracks were, which is really hard because I enjoyed a great bulk of this album. Man, like the first 4 tracks are just so dope. From Dizzy to Couple Skate to Take Control to Beautiful Danger. I'll try to do some specifics, but I like there aren't any tracks on this album I don't like, and it's only 10 songs. This joint was just fire. But if I had to pick some favorites, definitely Dizzy, great opening track. Definitely gives you a vibe of what you're about to get into, with just how upbeat and how soulful it is. Great verses from all 3 MCs. Great job from Deacon, just like with his singing and harmonizing. Just really catchy, really good track to kind of just kick the album off and get it going. Couple Skate, probably my favorite song on here. Just love how soulful it is. The hook is just mad catchy. I don't know if that was Clay Coffey who did. I don't know if Cecil Gardner was the rapper and Clay Coffey was the singer. Whoever was the singer, I just love his guest vocals in the background. It was really dope. It just made the hook so catchy. But yeah, that song is just that song. I feel like Couple Skate embodies the like what this album is. Like if you listen to Couple Skate and you like Couple Skate, you'll love the rest of this album. I feel like it perfectly captures what this album was trying to get across in terms of just, like I said, just really good, soulful, just psychedelic funk hip hop, like all rolled in just this really, really awesome package. So if you like that track, you'll love the rest of this album. Beautiful Danger with Fier and Alana was really dope. Emerald City I really love. I really like the guitar in the background of that track. Like I said, I like how that one to me had a bit more of like this kind of moody R&B-ish feel kind of to it. At least for me, I kind of got that vibe from it. Ascension 2 is definitely a favorite. Like I said, I like how it, we got a chance to dance, you got a chance to move for a little bit. Then we stop the music. We hit you with some real life bars. And Sheisty Khrist is really, really great at that. Really good at painting pictures. I love the line he had about, I'm paraphrasing, but the line he had about the same spoon that he used to eat was the same spoon that like his dad used for dope or something like that. That bar was crazy. Like I said, just really good, just real life introspective bars. So those are some of my favorite tracks. But really, every Take Control, Philly, Shoot the Fair One. That's awesome. All of these songs are just really good. I could have gone with a couple more tracks. I could have gave me 12 instead of 10. That's just kind of nitpicking. But nah, man, this was just. Sometimes you just want to put on music and you just want to have a good time, and that to me is just what this album was. It was just a great time. Just. I don't know what else to say. It was just a great time. Like I put this on and I'm in my good place. I'm in my happy place. I'm content with life. Everything's going good. This is great to listen to in the car. Lift your spirits up. Hit your little shoulder roll while you're driving. But nah, man, this was awesome, man. These three as a group, I'm definitely down for a sequel. And to be honest, like I don't even care if every time you guys do an Off Daze project, I don't care if it's all just fun music like this. Because like I said, between Natti, Deacon, and Sheisty Khrist, we've gotten, if you know their history, if you've listened to them before, we've gotten a ton of music that has really great content, that talks on real issues, that like I said, it's really serious, and music that'll make you think, so on and so forth. But sometimes you just want to have a good time. So if the Off Daze can just be, that group and this collective that just comes to, deliver jam after jam, just kind of makes you, forget about how crazy the world is in 30-minute increments, I'm all for it. If there's an Off Daze 2 album, that sounds just like this, I'm all for it. Keep the hits rolling. Keep that's just that soulful, funky, psychedelic hip hop feel. I'm in there. You got my full support. I will hand over my money again next time with no questions asked. Because this, like I said, this was just such a fun listen. This is definitely one of my favorite projects this year. Like I said, man, doing this top 20 at the end of the year, it's gonna be tough, man. There are so many good albums that came out this year, but this will definitely be in my top 20. I have no doubt. I've listened to this too many times already for it to not end up in my top 20 somewhere. But man, I could go on and on. But the Off Daze, Natti, Deacon the Villain, Sheisty Khrist, Couple Skate, listen to this album, put it on, let it ride out, and just enjoy life. Have a good time, man. Just let the music play, and it'll take you to a great place, and you can just stay in that great place and just and just enjoy it. Just enjoy the music, man. Just let it hit you, feel it, and enjoy it. But that's all I got. Like I said, if I kept going, I just end up repeating myself over and over. But this album was really great, so I will leave a link to the description below. I think the Twisted Love song has a music video, so I'll leave a link to that. And then I'll leave a link to the Bandcamp page where you can listen and purchase the album. Please purchase the album. Support good artists who put out dope content and good music. You can purchase the digital copy, or I don't know if it was sold out, but they had a physical bundle that comes with this CD. It comes with like a t-shirt and a maxi single. I can't remember how much that bundle is, but I don't know if it's sold out or not, but that's also on their Bandcamp page if you want to check that out. I'll leave a link to that. So shout outs to them. One of my favorite Southern hip hop acts. Not even just Southern hip hop acts. One of my favorite hip hop like collectives ever. I really love anything Cunning Linguist does or is affiliated with, and this is another notch on the belt. Once again, just showing how creative these guys can be, the different kind of vibes they can do. Like, everybody in this group and all of their affiliates are crazy talented. So if you listen to a Cunning Linguist album, if you listen to a Natti album, or Deacon or Sheisty Khrist, if you listen to them and you see a feature, check the feature out, because they seem to only work with the most talented of people. So give anybody any feature you see on their album a look, because they pull together some really great artists and musicians to just add greatness to their projects, which are already awesome, but they find people who can just help them take it to another level. But yeah, man, I don't want to ramble anymore. So like I said, relevant links to this album will be below, so you can buy it, listen to it, all that good stuff. Definitely give it a listen. So shout out to the Off Daze. Couple Skate is a really just awesome feel good project, and it will be in my rotation for months to come. But that's all I got for you guys today, man. It has been another episode of the Sounds Like Fun podcast. Please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, share with a friend, spread the love, share with a fellow music lover. And, as long as I keep coming across good music, I'll keep sharing it with you guys, and we can keep spreading it around, create our own little, our own little music community, our own little pocket where we can share our little gems with each other. But, yeah, man, it's been another episode of the Sounds Like Fun podcast. I appreciate you guys for listening, and until next time, I will catch you guys later.